Shweza ukhona la. Kuneshweza shikathanda kuya. Ngivule ngaphela. Sithanda imvuleza nezibusiso. Ngifuna ngaqala khona ngizongena phezulu kwendlela like ishingishang zomoya. Ngifuna lo some truth. No Samsung. But akukho kudlula uyishingishang. I'm trying to remember what I want to start off with. But yeah, ngingavusela ngisho topic esogibela phezu kwayo or what the situation is. God knows. Okay. Yeah, because a lot you're gonna be tagline yam there. A lot has happened. That's fine. Ngizongibangela ukushisa kube kubanda. Mbanye yodlala nje le kude. Ikhona ilona uba badlale angazi. But yeah, a lot has happened and ngifuna khona into engifuna ukuyidikida nani, especially I've had people ask me the most awkwardest of questions. Mina ngilindele ukuthi hayi, this is like general knowledge, but obviously people surprise you. Ukuthi into wena uyilindele ukuthi this is something that should be clear, you know. Uthola ukuthi ayiyona. Lo nyembezi olado kuphuma. Is my face fine? Okay. But I'm very khona ngizokhuluma kahle because so I want to discuss it because as people know, kunedlozi ukuthi siyathwasa. Bese kuba nedlozi lokuyiphilisa nokulungisa inkinga ekhaya. Bese kuba nabantu abadala ukuthi nje umuntu nje ohamba nogogo nomkhulu kind of a thing. Odlela ukuhamba labe qhubeka nempilo. Bese kuba nabantu abadala bokusebenza. Ne? Hayi ukuthi uphenduka umlaphi or uphenduka isangoma or uphenduka inyanga, but ngizoyichaza, ngifuna ukuyichaza because ngizovela ngidive kakhulu kuyona manje. Ngifuna ukuyichaza when I reach it. Bese kuba nesithunywa isithunywa esolapha abantu noma esoba umprofeti. Then bese kuba nesithunywa sokuyiphilisa wena self. So these are 6 different types of imoya that umuntu can have, right? There's no in between. It's just that. Either umuntu nedlozi, idlozi lokuthi uzothwasa, whether uzoyithwasisa ithongo lakubo noma uzoyithwasa kugobela, but uzothwasa nonetheless. Bese kuba nomuntu onedlozi but ongadingi intwaso, just ukuthi unedlozi lokuyiphilisa yena nomndeni wakhe, ne, nokulungisa inkinga ehlangene namathongo nedlozi, ne. Then you have umuntu onabantu abadala, just ukuthi ungogogo nomkhulu, and then bese kuba nomuntu onabantu abadala but othola ukuthi there's some form of healing that they will give, so khona ukulapha abazokwenza, but unabantu abadala kuphela, hayi ukuthi unedlozi lentwaso or unedlozi of any kind, just ukuthi unabantu abadala. And then bese kuba nesithunywa esokuyiphilisa, and then isithunywa where umuntu whereby there'll be either umprofeti or umuntu ozolapha, ozolapha ngokwesithunywa. 6 different types of spirits. Ngezake ke kuyona ngifuna ukubhema. Ubelungisile lapha. You're gonna go live on TikTok.
Yeah,
Uvele ngakunaki kanjani kwangona? Looking at all types of shading. Lithi liculo nikezeni isithuba ngikhulume nethemba lakho. Oh hawu isithuba, nikezeni isithuba bo, nikezeni isithuba ngikhulume nethemba lakho. Oh hawu isithuba, nikezeni isithuba bo. Nikezeni isithuba ngikhulume nethemba lami. Oh hawu isithuba, nikezeni isithuba bo, nikezeni isithuba ngikhulume nethemba lami. Oh hawu isithuba, ngibizeleni izangoma ahlulekile amakhosi. Oh ngibizeleni izangoma, ngibizeleni izangoma ahlulekile amakhosi. Oh ngibizeleni izangoma, ngibizeleni izangoma, oh bahlulekile amakhosi. Oh ngibizeleni izangoma, ngiyakholelwa-ke emathongweni. Ngifuna ukuvusela kodwa yo ngiyabonga ukungilinde emakhosini. But nje ngiyabhoka la umuntu ongilona ngihlalele ney'nto zami usabhizi ushabalala. So so I'm having to baba yazi wayifaka ifoni la ku-silent, ngifuna ukungena phezu kwendaba. Wayifaka ku-vibrate ku-silent. Okay ngibongeke. Ngibonge ukuthi niphinde nibe nami namhlanje ngeSunday. Ngithi ngiqale ngivusele nje ngivusela kwabakithi abazongihlangabeza kule nkulumo. Ngivusele komalume-ke kogatsheni obuya benyathi ubusamsombuko ompongo ozingelwayo. ngoba ngokuzibulayo lina abayadlovu bayinkobe zidla ikhaya ngothola belusi zothi zolusi utobi ude bazalidombazane nabothiya nokuthiya amadoda bazobukweni bakwande amathongo amahle. Ngiyaphinde ngiyavusela-ke amathongo akithi akuba balungiselela khona umakhanyongo nogumede kophathwa koqaba kukhuzwa kweyona ngezitha. Phinde kuvusele amathongo engibambisenwe nawo amathongo la ngiganele khona komalume umkhonyana wami onala kodlamini ojamakasishadu komanto zakhe ngokheswa. Ngiphinde ngivusele-ke kawubaba la izalelwa khona koshabayalodongo lamavuso. Ngiphinde-ke ngiyavusela-ke la kunina-ke mathongo angihlangabezayo-ke kuy'nkulumo zami. Mathongo angikhonzile athanda iy'nkulumo engifika nazo kwabantwana babo kunina bogogo nani bothokoza nasey'thunyweni uqobo ngithi amen kwabathandazi. Bese ngiphinde ngibingelele-ke okwentose yami emakhosi nje fast athi ngibeke kanje uThixo wami ngithi kodwa Thixo ya cabanga ukuthi ngihlelekile-ke. Ngiyavusela kumina nonke ngixolele nje yazi ngibhema kwamavidiyo because ngizama ukuthi ngiyihlele ukuthi mengithi ungabe nami Makhosi ungaze nizwe ukuthi idlozi lami likhuluma kanjani. I hope you're right. Okay. Alright, so njengoba ngichazile ne imimoya ihlukene kawu-6. Umuntu onedlozi lentwaso either ledlozi lakhe melithwasa lizoyithwasisa lona ithongo lakhe lakubo noma umuntu uzothwasa kagobela. Umuntu onedlozi idlozi lokusebenza futhi. Then bese kuba umuntu onedlozi kodwa idlozi lokuziphilisa idlozi lokulungisa inkinga zisekhaya idlozi lokulekelela ekhaya nokukhusela abantwana bakhe. And lo muntu loyo onedlozi elingathwasi uyayikhipha iy'ngane ezinentwaso, so uyayizala iy'ngane ngithi uyikhipha because that can be interpreted on so many different levels. So uyaba ney'ngane uthola ukuthi ezinentwaso ne but uthola ukuthi yena kade ngokuthwasa. Bese kuba ogogo nomkhulu fana azidlela igobongo abe right ngempilo aqhubeke ngempilo yakhe whatever they were doing ne. Bese kuba khona umuntu onabantu abadala but uhamba nabantu abadala uthola ukuthi abanye babe yizangoma babe yinyanga and uyakhona ukuthi abuya laphe uqhuba impande yakubo moslo umuntu loyo. Ngisazowenza umzekelo kwaleyo situation. And then bese kuba khona ke umuntu onesithunywa isithunywa sokusebenza sokulapha abantu whether uyalapha or uyaprofeta but isithunywa sokuthi asebenza abantu. Then bese kuba khona umuntu onesithunywa isithunywa sokuyiphilisa yena self ne. So imoya ke le umuntu aba nayo 6. Those are the different people that you get. Now there was a video that I saw sangoma thizeni ngicabanga ukuthi iningi lenu njengoba ngizowenza reference lento a lot of people have seen it but ngingasho ukuthi sangoma but umlaphi thizeni angisho njalo ngcono umlaphi thizeni they have a podcast and they had this celebrity or took generations and washinda ukuthi wathwasa and then God called him. Wamphindisela endleleni wamsondeza waphinde wayisondeza uNkulunkulu waresigna ey'ntweni zomngoma waphindela esimeni sokuba umuntu othandazayo okholwayo. And that thing disturbed me because I think shame nomlaphi, I have to say they asked the right questions, but the person wasn't answering the questions, of which I think for me was a frustration because okay, does he not fall in the category of abantu abafika bathwasa but ababangadinge ukuthwasa yabo, that just needed to sort out their life, you know? And let me answer you in a better way. I was somebody that their life was falling apart, and this is in the route because the devil was in his ear. No. You know, when you don't understand out of these categories where you fall, and then impilo yakho falls apart, then you tend to be like, he's one of many, baningi abajika khona entwaseni uthola ukuthi bathwasa mhlawumbe bangaqeda. A lot of people I've heard of bathwasa baqeda, you know, but there are those that also just bathwasa bashiya halfway, bangaqhubeka nentwaso yabo, because again God called to them, right? Without necessarily understanding, because you know, but I think when you don't understand what you are and what's happening with you in your life, and you just assume you know, there's your life falls apart, your marriage falls apart, you know, uyagula, uya this, uya that. And I think with a lot of videos I've explained ukuthi ukugula, yes, but it's just a small portion. Ungaphupha indaba yokuthi usesikoleni, but not all dreams athi usesikoleni achaza ukuthi fanele uyothwasa. There are some dreams, and I specifically said this, ngiyakhumbula ngisho ngithi there are some dreams where ukuba usesikoleni ufunda, but it doesn't necessarily mean ukuthi you need ukuthi uyothwasa. It can be any type of education, is spiritual, whether it be education of understand idaloza kini uyabo, and ngoba unabantu abadala, understand idaloza kini and what you need to do in order to ukujabulisa abantu bakho abangasekho. Or it can be ukuthi spiritual education of umuntu okufanele ukuthi afunde isimo sakhe sesithuna and afunde isimo sakhe semoya ahamba nayo. Or it can be intwaso. It doesn't necessarily mean ukuthi ngoba uphupha ufunda uphupha usemanzini ufanele uyothwasa. No, it doesn't work like that, because kwamina self, when it comes to me going to go initiate, there were so many set circumstances, and from my awareness, as early as 15, right? But there were sengumuntu always izinto kuma sengikhulile ngithi ma kwakunesimo esikanje, you know, why didn't you think of ukuthi mhlawumbe ngise kumlaphi nani? Because I remember things happening to me as early as 3 years old. You know, even my mom wavela waphathwa ikhanda wathi uyikhumbula njani lento, because you were not older than 3-4 years old. Like, how are you remembering that? It was just something that kept coming to me ukuthi ayibo sakusahamba endaweni ukuthi ngathi silapho kwenzeka ukuthi kumina ngangaya esontweni lukuthi because ekhaya my birth father was wayehamba isonto lezayona, so me, my mom and my brother sagcina nathi obviously sithatha birth father sahamba ke lelo sonto sizayona, and things even happened then. My conversation that I had with umfundiswa lapho, I think it was about 4 or 5, and he specifically said to me, "What's angashiyi wangibeyela isigubhu wathi le sigubhu lesi ngimtshele noma ukuthi angashiyi because sizongiphilisa, ungibonelele ngishaya isigubhu." yabo. And he didn't necessarily wanaba kuleyo nto kodwa wakhuluma indaba yesigubhu, wakhuluma ukuthi asizokuphilisa. What else did he say? Something about ukuthi ungibonelela imoya that's in tune with isigubhu, and my heart iyabhawuza mekushaya isigubhu, like it's almost like ivele ngathi ngiyizwa ibhawuza to the rhythm of isigubhu. And mengigula mengishayela isigubhu kunalokuphila okwenzakala ngathi ngiyavuseleleka, you know. There were so many things. When I was 7 ngagula, I think ngangayichaza lento ukuthi ngagula when I was around 7 years old. I hadn't had food, like I was so anorexic. I hadn't had food for like 3 months. And ngangiphuziswa amanzi uma ngigxisha amaphilisi, you know, but I couldn't eat. Ngaze ngayiswa ekhaya kukhulu wami, my mom's mom. Ngayiswa ekhaya, and I was always fighting. And so I remember this one night, ngakhahlela ukhulu wami wazwa embhedeni wavuka wangikhulekela. So she used to, before we go to bed, angikhulekela a lot. It got better. Miraculously, I just got better. And from then on, imaginary friends, abantu abangasekho ngilokhu ngibabona, and all these things that were happening. Then when I was 15, lento yokuthi nginyamalala olwandle for a set time, ngingaphansi kwamanzi and whatnot, and then dreaming of being underwater, and within that being underwater, there are things that happened. As much as ngiyaphuma ngaphansi kwamanzi, and that was that, and the dreams that I was having, there was so much, there was such for the first time, and wangitshela ukuthi nginedlozi lokulapha abantu, fanele ngabe ngilapha abantu. And the things he told me, I knew exactly what I was talking about, because I got that information, you know. And then he told me to come back for a cleansing, khona ngizokwazi ukuthi ngilapha abantu. Umoya wami kodwa wangavuma ukuthi ngiyekuyena lo muntu for that cleanse, because why inezinto ayesebenza ngazo that weren't well for my spirit. He wanted to do the shortcut of what I needed, and my ancestors were like, no, that's not what we want. We don't want the shortcut, we want the full 9. So there's a lot that happens. And that's why it's something that starts from a young age. It's not something when dala and your life is falling apart and you're like, bam, no. It doesn't work like that, you know. But I'm not going to dive all the way through my history, deeper than dreaming of or dreaming of spiritual education or dreaming of schooling. It's so much deeper than being because I can tell you but it's not necessarily my position to tell you that. There are things that I need to tell you prior to that, so that without even me telling you, there's certain things that start to click within you that saying what's actually my directive, you know. Because the difficulty now, one, abantu are basically stealing amathwasa abantu ngoba baneyigubhu zokudonsa amathwasa. There shouldn't be an artificial thing, a non-spiritual thing. There must be inkulumo efika kuwena from amadlozi akho athi thina sifuna impande yakagajeni, thina sifuna impande yamakhanya, thina sifuna impande yakashabana, thina sifuna impande yakangcobo, sifuna impande yakamkhize. They need to be the ones that direct you to that specific place, not ukuthi kunomuthi thizeni okudonsayo. And also, just because uhlole like her, it doesn't mean ukuthi uthwasa like her, you know. People are, whenever kungena abantu abanemimoya that somewhat represent idlozi, they tend to also want to take those people babatwasis. There's a lot that's happening, and people are in no position to actually twasa. Monedlozi ungakhona ukuthi ube nedlozi lokuthi uyiphilise nabantu bakini. And a lot of the time umuntu onedlozi kanjalo does not need initiation, but they need ukuthi mhlambe badla igobongo ukubadlela imithabo noma badlulawo to satisfy those particular people abahamba nabo ababe abalaphi or ababe neyikhwama, so badlela ukhamba thizeni, you know, because I'm going to be speaking from the Makhosi point of view, and because I have no understanding of what happens Katogoza or Kwamzao, you know, but I know also even within Makhosi, you know, Makhosi, there's immunity that they have that already can satisfy Amatong without umuntu going to initiate. I know ukuthi bathi islawu sakotata nesilawu komama, ne, that in itself more umuntu onabantu abadala and uyaxhosa modla leyo mithi leyo, it can satisfy amathongo akini, uyabo, or satisfy idlozi lakho okuyilona elizokuphilisa liphilise nabantwana bakho or likusiza ukuthi ulungise izinto zasekhaya, but awudinge intwaso, you know. Now what happens is there are people abanamadlozi not for healing others and not for doing anything other than ukulungisa inkinga zasekhaya nokulungisa izinto for the children, or recognizing things that are happening with their kids. Nani mhlambe fanele akhathe umntwana thina ke sakhula kuthiwa siyakhatha, you know, where because umntwana mawaba no2 years chatho ziyasha no poison nje for chatha kwakhe. He's just sensitive mothinta amabhams akhe, is like ngathi uvela ubona ukuthi nje uyazi minca akafune lutho, but he's due for that. So from 2 years nje umntwana uyachatha, you know, umhlambulula, you know, there are things that happen, and umuntu onedlozi lokuphilisa ekhaya enokuphilisa eyintweni that ezenzakala. You should have left it. So ukuphilisa ekhaya lo muntu loyo bengcene phazamiso yena. Lo muntu loyo, yes, will be able to recognize the children that have a certain special pull towards intwaso or towards nestunywa or towards imimoya efanele ukuthi mayisebenze, right? There are signs towards that, right? Then lo muntu anabantu abadala, right? Ngizoqala abantu abadala bokusebenza. No muntu onabantu abadala uthola ukuthi they come from inyanga, they come from izangoma, they are the direct descendants, ne? Like my kids are going to be descendants of umama obeyisangoma, right? Their children are going to be descendants of grandmother who was a sangoma, not my mother's mom because I got twasanga, but khona umunye grandmother wami, that's my grand sister, yabo. So kuthiwani great aunt wethi isingisi, yabo, whoever nake great aunt or grandmother who's a sister of your grandmother, lo mshubo loyo chaza yabo usisikago kuphela angisho yazi ngishabela ongeke nginike ipeace. Yeah, so they're going to be descendants of that. So when you're descendants of abantu abakanjalo, you tend to ungungwa abantu vele ababe neimpande, right? Njengami ngempande yami, my great grandmother had impande yakhe, and so forth and so forth. My grandfather wayne impande my great grandfather wayne impande yakhe, leo vibe le. So lo muntu onabantu abadala bakanjalo uthola ukuthi ungungwe abantu beyimpande, ne? Lo muntu depending on ukuthi whether kwakuyinyanga ekhaya or kwakuyizangoma, they will have times where kuzofika abantu ekhaya, right? Let me make an example. One of my kids, ne, or ama, my eldest is ama, right? Ngiyabafundisa ukuthi okay iwashe ezithile zenza ukuthi umuthi othile wenza ukuthi, right? But uthola ukuthi akathwasile kayilutho, wadla igongo nje wayiqhubela nempilo yakhe. So amana ke uthola ukuthi kunomuntu odinga ukulashwa ngempandala ekhaya but akasosangoma. But because ngimembethe nogogo bamembethe afika benephupho lithi okay mzukulu kuzofika umuntu okaso, right? When this person arrives munike umuthi ukuthi nokuthi bese umnika iswasho sukuthi akwazi ukuthi amkhiphele lo muntu loyo leyo nto ifike iyenze leyo nto kulowo muntu leyo imlaphe leyo sifo thizeni o leyo nkinga nayo imlaphe, right? But amakasangoma, you know, but because umbethwe abantu ababeyizangoma and she's the only one left that can ongaqhuba impande yasekhaya, right? Then umuntu udinga lempande le yakandlovu udinga lempande emakhanya, so bafike kuyena ke labo bantu labo abanike bahambe balapheke leyo nkinga, right? It won't be an everyday thing where afikelwa abantu, but uthola ukuthi every once in a while, like every month or so or every 2 months or so, kuzoba nabantu abazofika abazodinga ukuthi balungisele inkinga ethize. And when that happens, isikhathi esiningi when that happens isikhathi esiningi also umntwana so ama will have like this connection of constantly getting messages. Uthola ukuthi at times ukwazi ngisho ukuhlola but akathwasile akasona isangoma akayona inyama. Omunye uthola ukuthi babe izinyanga ekhaya. So, and I've met so many of these people, it's crazy, especially more in Makaya, because the further you go into farms in Makaya, you find people, but imithi iyakhuluma kuyena, ne? Avuke ekuseni vele kube nento ethi namhlanje uzoyehlathini. When a meeting that's gonna stand out for them, I gatherish, and I gatherish, I guidance yonkinto. Then, without fail, uthola at the end of the day, mhlawumbe ntambama message uyaphumula vele ungena umuntu ethi siyakhuleka kaShabalala or siyakhuleka kaDlamini yazi ngihlushwa ikhanda or ngihlushwa isifuba or ngihlushwa kunento ehlahla sinde ini bese kathi hayi yazini khona umuthi enguhlanganisile lapha nothi ngikhiphele imithi iya-communicate kuyena lowo muntu loyo, so akwazi ukuthi akhiphe imithi. My mom used to tell me about my grandside of the family ukuthi yazi when she was younger they were her aunts uma etho antibak, right, or mamncane nana ethi when they used to go there babehleli benemithi behlanganisa imithi nanani but babengazoni izangoma, they were nothing but babeyazi imithi and maybe kunika umuthi lo muthi 100% uzosebenza, but they weren't anything edlozini. They were just abantu abanabantu abadala abangathwasile and abahlanganisa izinto abafundiswa zona, yabo. So umuntu onabantu abadala bokusebenza ke loyo, not ukuthi uzosebenza njengesangoma every day or yena weekly nje ulapha abantu, no, but they're occasionally gonna come a time where they are consistently helping people but they're not healers. Abantu abadala laba abasebenzayo, ne? And people tend to confuse that with umuntu onedlozi lentwaso, hence why lo muntu onabantu abadala ufika hamba yothwasa uthola ukuthi intwaso ayixabani naye, uyathwasa qede kube right but kunongahlaliseke emoyeni wakhe because udle izinto uthola ukuthi mekufanele aphothule or enzeni kunongacaci, yabo. It's always some kind of shenanigans that are happening that are consistently telling that person who say you shouldn't be here, you shouldn't be doing this, but they ignore it, yabo. I baningi abantu esengabahlola ngathi wathwasa kanjani, like wathwaselani yabo. Athi umuntu no ngaye kumuntu because I always used to dream of imithi, and I always used to dream of abantu abafikayo nanani, and ngathi ngiya-ke kulomlaphi lona wathi ayinofanele ngithwase fanele ngibe isangoma nanani. And it's like, okay, prior to you going to the healer, was there anything within you that kept on showing you intwaso or showing you ukuthi fanele uyokugobela? Athi umuntu no. Ngathi okay, so uthwasa kanjani? You know, how do you initiate without being shown ukuthi fanele entwaseni? Lo mntwana lo umntwana engamenzela igobongo, ngathi ngimenzela igobongo, like she constantly angitshela ukuthi ngeke, she kept having dreams engibona ngisolwandle naye, or engibona sihamba ngathi khona soyenza. Benamaphupho that are telling her ukuthi okay fanele ngimthwasise. So ngiyakhona ukumthwasisa, but angikwazi ukuthi wena ngoba nakhu ngiyakulapha then fanele ngikuthwasise because uhamba nabantu abayizangoma or uhamba nabantu abanempande. It doesn't work like that. So abantu abakanjalo that end up in initiations without needing to be there, and then years later yibo futhi hey no nje I had no business being in that because God called me. God's not calling nobody. Nyapayiza because you're trying to run into izinto that are beyond you through the guidance of people that abafuna ukunikama just because you walk with ancestors, and then with no weight of saying you need to be there. And then masisizinetha seninodwa senisemakaya, then it's like izangoma or umngoma is the problem. Umngoma bukaze bube inking ukuthi umngoma in the hands of people that are taking advantage of inkinga that people are going through. That's where the problem lies, and that's where ilahlekisa abantu ukuthi ibafake entwaseni, because then it drives me to my fourth umoya, umuntu okufanele ukuthi adle igobongo and aqhubeke nempilo. You will not have the weight on your shoulders as umuntu onedlozi, ne? Umuntu anabantu abadala uzoba nenkinga ezithize, yes, and lezo inkinga, it's not usually as heavy as people make it out to be. It's just that when you're going through a problem, you see it as something distressful, and you're seeing it as something that is breaking down your life, but not necessarily because the weight is as big as you are claiming it to be. Because ngiyazi nami menginenkinga, oh woe is me, ngihlupha shaba nginestress, I can't sleep, kukuthi babe, but it's not that deep. Ngize ngisizwe yena lokho type, but babe, it's not that deep, yabo. And then ngikwazi ukuthi ngithi ukwehla umoya ngithi okay no ngiyabona na assess the situation. But more senkingeni wena self awukwazi ukubona ukuthi into isinda ngalendlela wena uchaza ngayo, but isuke isinda wena because usaphakathi inside enkingeni, but not because it's something that needs to be remedied or idinga ukuthi mayilungiswe ngokuthi uthwase. Because another thing, intwaso, I don't know how many times I can stress this, intwaso does not fix your problems. Ayikazi iqala intwaso ilungisa inkinga zakho. But people make it seem like intwaso ilungisa inkinga. No, it fixes the problems that came with you ushawela ukuthi awuthwasi. That's the problems it fixes. So mekuthi ubalela intwaso, le inkinga efike nokuthi ubalekela intwaso izona inkinga ezolunga mhla uthwasa. Le imali eyibaleka ngoba wena ufuna ukuthatha imali uyophehla inkamba, awufuna ukuthatha imali uyohlaba imbuzi, uyohlaba inkomo, uyedlozi lakini. Those are the problems it's going to fix. It's not going to fix your marriage. Yabo, it's not going to fix your marriage. It's not going to fix ukuthi ngiyabhodla kwemsebenzini unless inkinga efikisa ukuthi awufuni ukuyothwasa. Mina before ngithwase, before ngibe isangoma, before ngenze anything, I had businesses, I had money I was making. So the more I wasn't going to initiate, the more imali ngingayiboni ukuthi yapi, the more ngibalekela idlozi ngingacabanga ukuthi okay, maybe I should go to a traditional healer because odokotela bahlulekile. Let me go to a traditional healer, because even nokuthi ngiye esontweni did not help me. Uyabo kunalokho nje, it was causing me to just have problems nje ngiye esontweni. Uyabo. So the more I went everywhere else other than to a healer to go inquire about my situation, the more I was losing money. Uyabo. The problems I had with Umkhulu Shabalala, those were not fixed by Intwaso. They were fixed by him waking up, about he's going to lose his wife. They were fixed by us sorting out our issues, and not because because mind you, ngithwasile akathwasile. Yabo. Sengithwasile mina akathwasile, but we were still having conflict. Yes, certain things went better, ne? But we were still having the same old issues that we always had, because Intwaso wasn't the cause of the issues that were in our relationship. It was our own problems as people, as individuals, and me as Thandi yena as Mkhulu. It had nothing to do with our ancestors. It had nothing to do with me needing initiation, nothing to do with him needing initiation. Intwaso does not fix problems. It's got nothing to do with issues. But people make it seem like no. That's why I don't lie to people. Maybe I think it's got whatever's going to be fixed is going to be fixed if it's something. If then it will not be fixed. It will take you and that person sorting your shit out. Yeah. So local, batabatan. If wena busebenza emgroove uzoqhubeka usebenza emgroove, mekuthi uyagroove uzoqhubeka ube groovist. Once wayidlela igobongo lakho, it's got nothing to do with ngeke all of a sudden usindelwe ubhodle. Everybody's bothering now. Like, people need to relax. I was alone in okay, these questions I can answer later. Siyakhuleka ekhaya, siyabonga Makhosi, and then Usipho Thokoza Makhosi. Ayi Makhosi, amen. Okay, everything else I can answer after. All right, so that's that. Then you get sifike ithunweni. I learned is a movie, because everybody wants to be umthandazi. And there is something. Okay. All right. Everybody wants to be umthandazi, and it doesn't work like that. Umuntu ke wedlozi. Umuntu wedlozi mekuthi unesithunywa. And I want to explain this before I move on into ndledlozi and go straight to indaba yabathandazi. If we isithunywa, if we idlozi, ne? Whether idlozi eliyinyanga or kanye idlozi eliyisangoma, right? If you're one of the two, however you function as idlozi eliyisangoma is going to be parallel, izohamba kanje, to how you function as isithunywa, if unesithunywa. Because again, I've broken this down. Nesangoma esinesithunywa, kunesangoma esinedlozi kuphela. Kunenyanga enedlozi, kunenyanga enesithunywa nedlozi, right? So if we sangoma or we nyanga, however you function as those two things, right, or those two beings, then that's how you're gonna function esithunyweni. So for example, if uyisangoma njengoba ubhula, right? If uyabhula, no full well ukuthi uzoprophet, because uzobhula la edlozini uphinde ubhule la esithunyweni uprofethe, ubhula abantu ngokwesithunywa ubaprofethe. If idlozi lakho liyayikhipha imithi because kunezangoma that's not supposed to keep imithi. Le nto ukuthi every sangoma ikhipha imithi is beyond me, but that's a story for another day. Kunezangoma ezingayikhipha imithi. But if umngoma bakho biyanyanga as well, kunemithi oyikhiphayo, azi ukuthi nesithunywa sakho sizokhipha imithi yaso. So for example, imithi yaso sokhipha iwasho or kanye sizokhulekela amanzi. Right? That's if idlozi lakho liyakhipha imithi. If idlozi lakho liyakhipha imithi, uzophilisa abantu ngokubakhulekela. Just like uyabhula ngala, uyaprofeta ngala, uyakhuleka ngala ukuthi usiza umuntu. Uyabo? So that's I just want to end that there. Uyabo? Understand. So when we come la esithunyweni, where everybody is umthandazi these days, ukuba umthandazi ubizo kwalona. It's a calling, just like we have a calling emgomeni, we have a calling esithunyweni, right? There's isithunywa for thyself, and then there's isithunywa for thine others. Yeah, isithunywa for you or isithunywa sokulapha abantu, right? Isithunywa ke sakho self, isithunywa sakho naso sizo malade ekhaya kwenziwani, uyakwazi ukuthi ubone ukuthi ayile lade lenziwe ekhaya ngathi alilo, and then unika isibonakaliso that's going to say ukuthi I know ekhaya, just like umuntu onabantu abadala uzothola isibonakaliso, kuzowenza umsebenzi la ekhaya. Njengoba kuzowenza umsebenzi, kuzohlatshwa inkukhu ukuthi, imbuzi ukuthi, or kuzohlatshwa inkomo ukuthi, nokuthi ke njengoba kuzokwenziwa lo msebenzi lo, abangakhohlwa ukwenza ukuthi, ngoba la ekhaya kunezithunywa as well. Bangakhohlwa ukuthi mekuneladi akube nenkukhu eziwu4 noma kube nenkukhu eziwu2 noma kube nenkukhu eyodwa. Abangakhohlwa ukuthi fanele bahlaba isikabhu mekuthi bazoyihlaba imbuzi. That type of thing. Uzoba nezibonakaliso zeinkinga zasekhaya or imisebenzi yasekhaya, or umuntu ongaphilanga ekhaya, umuntu ogulayo ofanele ukuthi ke makalasho or makayi kumuntu olapha or makayi kumthandazi, whatever that's going on, uzoyibona. Ngisho kuzoshona umuntu ekhaya, the isithunywa sakhe can communicate that it's like khona umuntu ozohamba either uzohamba kanje, it's natural causes, or kanye uzohamba kanje and into yokwenziwa ihlangene nokuganga phakathi, right? But a lot of the time mawuthole isibonakaliso of someone passing on, right? This is not all the time. This is most of the time. If it's got to do with unnatural causes, like kugangiwe or something happened and that person is dying before their time, uzothola isibonakaliso, whether it be in a dream or a vision, but uzothola. Not to say this is every case, no. Sometimes they just inform you so you can prepare yourself, or they inform you because or something is going to happen ekhaya, and you guys can't be doing that when someone's about to pass on in a few days or in a month. So izinto ekanjalo. So nesithunywa sokuyiphilisa wena ukuphilisa ekhaya, then you're gonna see things like that, where ubone ukuthi okay, fanele ngikhulekela ukuthi if someone engaphilanga ekhaya, if you wake up in the middle of the night and a child is sick, kuthiwa iguqa uthandaze or hlanganisa isiswasho sokuthi usikhulekele umphuzisa umntwana, whatever the case may be, but kuyohlangana nokuthi ulungise izinto zasekhaya. It can occasionally be a case where ubonelela into zabantu, but isikhathi esiningi abantu ozobabonelela izinto are people close to you and people that you've come across in your life. It doesn't necessarily mean ukuthi they need to be your best friends or be not associates, acquaintances. It doesn't necessarily mean that. It just means ukuthi because wena usuwa waba ne-exchange emimoya nalowo muntu, whether benixoxa or whatever the case may be, ngenza ukuthi because that person has been in your spiritual space, right? In your surrounding. Isithunywa sakho sikhuluma because isithunywa mos unondaba we spirit. Ula unendaba too much, ne? isithunzi. So uthola ukuthi uzobona izinto regarding that person bese uyambonelela, and then you just think shuthi isithunywa samsonza abantu. No, it's just that when somebody is being around your spiritual space or around your aura, nina ke enthanda ukukhuluma indaba yama aura, if someone's been in the space of your aura, you have a spiritual exchange with that person, so you can see things regarding them or propheting or regarding even their sibling, because most whoever they've had around them, that has a weight on that person. So by the time that they get to you, there's all these things surrounding that person that you are now exchanging with, and because you are now exchanging that, you are able to then umbonelele, not because you're an odd sin spirit, no, just ukuthi because unesithunywa, isithunywa sineyindaba, siyathanda ukukhuluma indaba zabantu, so lizokutshela ukuthi ayike mntanami kukuthi mekuthi unesithunywa singanjalo, or kanye kuzoba nento ekhulumayo ethi kukuthi, and that's that. Then you have isithunywa sokusebenza. Umuntu onesithunywa sokusebenza, they carry the weight of the world on their shoulders at all given times. They are forever emotional about everything. They are forever, like the weight we feel as isangoma is the same weight we will feel as ithunywa. You will consistently be so yini legama leli mozwela umuntu ube nezwelelo labantu kakhulu, uhlezi uzusizi labo. What's the English word? Empathy. Ayifani ngishayela izandla, hayi manje siyamhlangabeza kancane. You forever empathize with people, on a heavy scale, and whoever you come across, it doesn't matter who it is, uthola ukuthi awumazi noma usesontweni ukephi ziyasha nje, uyaprofetha nje kukuthi lona kunesithunywa sokuprofetha abantu, lo onesithunywa ngathi siyanyanga, lo muntu ubizwa ngumthandazi, unomprofethi kunomthandazi. Those two are very different things. I don't know why we call everybody umthandazi. It's not that. Mina mthandazi, angena umthandazi, ngumprofethi, ngiyaprofetha. I'm not great with prayer. Prayer is not my forte. Prayer is not my speciality. Yeah. Ushabala is different. Ushabala hayi umkhuleko, hayi ukhipha yonke indawo, ukhipha ngamadlebe, ukhipha ngamakhala, ukhipha ngisho enqeni. Uyaphuma nje umthandazo ke. Into zakho. Uyena umuntu who's more of umthandazi than I am. But at the same time, we are prophetic. But uprophetha kwakhe is not at the level of ubuthandazi bakhe. Ubuthandazi bakhe is a lot higher than uprophethi bakhe. But we are prophet. And that's because even nasedlozini uphethe ikhwama zomngoma kanye nezokunyanga. Yabo, because we can't carry both. That's why I said even earlier, I would say isangoma technically ayikhipha imithi unless unekhwama zakho ukuthi uyayikhipha imithi, ne? And abantu abanezikhwama zemithi bayiphupha nokuyiphupha imithi. So ukuthi there's this lady fanele to squeeze ngiyamlapha squeeze usqueezer I like ngamhlola ne ngathi ngimhlola usqueezer uyazazi gogo ne, because I sent a message I think on Friday, and I'm just like I love your spirit because he humble, like it knows who it is, but in a manner that still gives space to umuntu omlaphayo. And that's a hard combination to come by, where somebody spiritually like understands their strength, understands their power, but at the same time they are humble about it, and they give you as a person healing them the space to do what you need to do for them. Of which mengilapha abantu abanamathongo abanamadlozi akhulumayo. Some of those people uyabezwa mosukuthi uyitshela ukuthi uyazi, but if uwazi so much, why are you coming to me? Why am I helping you? By Tigo Losisi, she's so different. Usqueezage. Because wa shabalala na. So she dreams of a meeting, and the communication is so clear. It's so clear. But but that's because obviously into zakhe usayilungisa lezi edlozi, right? But okwamanje usaphila ngesithunywa sakhe, usenza izinto usafunction as umuntu oyisithunywa kuphela. And the level of understanding, even when I'm communicating with her, and izinto namaphupha anawo where umuntu okhulekela amanzi, but at the same time amaphupha ayafika indaba yemithi ethile ukuthi hayi umuthi ukuthi that shows ukuthi mhla ephelele edlozini she will have ikhwama zomnyanga. So manje ezisithunywa ukhulekela amanzi, and she's doing things ngosithunywa way, but i-functionality yakhe iyabalansa, yabo. Lo muntu unesithunywa sokuphilisa abantu, unedlozi lokuphilisa abantu, yabo. That thing you cannot be told about it. There's communication in how you are spiritually that comes in. So mina mase sengiklora or mengikusiza, the things you say to me that just indicate ukuthi yabo lo khokho vula wesangoma, khokho vula wenyanga, yabo. Into yakhe nje iyazikhulumela yona in a manner that needs to ukuthi ifunction ngayo, okhombisa ukuthi this is what they are. Not for me as a healer to be telling you what you are. No one can tell you what you are. I had this conversation the other day. Ngathi yabo umuntu okutshela ukuthi thwasa baleka. I cannot be the person without there being communication prior. Yabo. Akufanele ukuthi fanele uthwase uqale ngami. Fanele ukuthi fanele uthwase kube into vele, by the time ufike kumina you have knowledge of it, or you have understanding of it, based on what's been happening with you and the things you see and the things that happen. It's a balancing of the two. Izinto ezenzakalayo esimeni sakho senyama kanye nezinto ezenzakalayo esimeni sakho sespirit. If there's no balance, then asikakafikeleli kuyona. Asikakafikeleli ukuthi fanele uthwase, asikakafikeleli esimeni ukuthi unedlozi. So that's why when people are then able to resign or able to say, no, mina, I'm no longer isangoma, or I'm no longer inyanga, it's something that comes easy. I mean, I've tried that. I've tried to resign as isangoma because I'm so done. I'm so done. The first time I did it, what did ugogo come and do to me? Ngavuka ekuseni ngiphelile imvimbo. Not ukuthi imvimbo engabonakali, no, ngayikhombisa uma, ngayikhombisa ushabalala, ngathi hayibo ngiphuphe ngishawa. Kuthiwa yini lo shit engikukhuluma ukuthi engiyayeka ukuthwasa. Ngashawa my thighs, izitho zami zayiphelile imvimbo. First time ngathi ngiyayeka, ne? Khumbula ushabalala ngidla kanjani? Ngathi hey, buthini now? That's why I didn't know better, but because nje go one twice, and I'm just like, this is not it. I'm this white girl, you know. Ngikhule in the burbs, yabo. Ngikhule nje ngihlala nabelungu. Angikwazi ngisho ukukhuluma isiZulu kahle, like vatkhanan, like what's happening, you know. So inga leyo ngithwasa ngithi ngiyayeka. Second time ngithi ngiyayeka, I think I've said this, it was after ngishonela mawelami, because of how horrific it was and the things that happened while the whole saga went down and the trauma I went through. So ngathi beshona and the trauma I went through, depression ephezulu kobhozo, ngadlalelani ke abantu abadala. Sengiright ngani, ngihluleka ngokuvikela la. Hayi guys, kanti siyadlala ke kusho ukuthi sakhe imizi la yamasgcosi. This is anikho serious ngempilo, anikho serious ngami. Ningenza upopayi wenu, uyabo. After I've gone through so much to be isangoma, nina seningila kanje. No, ngiright. and angikho ngisho ukulala at that time, like I was not sleeping at all. So one day ngangisa uthando yegoma, ngangisa uthando yegoma. Yeah, so I was taking my other child to tell Goma. No, why in alone? Why in alone the can? So now, because it happened twice. So the first time, so and the lady that anxious again, she was like our family doctor. So I told her everything that happened. This is hectic. What's what I need to sue. Whole nine. Ngathi kodwa ngilali, can she give me something ukuthi ngikwazi ukulala? Banginika ama-sleeping pills. Ngawadle ngathi ngidla ama-chips, ngadla ngathi ngidla usweet, ngawaqhufuza ama-sleeping pills, lutho ukulala, ngiyawaqhufuza ama-sleeping pills, lutho ukulala. Bazalwane mekuthiwa idlozi likhona, and idlozi alidlali nawe, adzile ukuzodlala, lizokunyisa. I was on my sleeping pills to the point where I think I was on the 10th or 12th one. Shaba wathi ngikhathele yilo shit. Shoot uzozwaqede, shoot zamoyibulala kahle kahle. Alright, thatha amaphilisi lawa desele wafaka etoilet. Lapho still angilele, ngiqhufuzile mina ama sleeping pills ngilokho ngaphuza. Angilali kodwa. Angazi idlozi kushuthi leli lwagwinya wona lithi nje uyadlala lo. If I can tell you, Uguti, 5 in the morning, was it 5, 6? 6 in the morning. And Lala and so bonke mean. Nala mapilis or sevens, Abana no Shabala Lang, because Tata Mapilisa Marcelo Ala Shalapan, a toilet. Abana and get head and sangen. 6 a.m. and mind you, in some sense was zonking, I fagu plastic bin. Yes, ngangakayilahla eminyango zayihleli nje kuplastic omnyama kabhini ngithi nje ngisazoyilahla. 6 a.m. I get a call from my mother. Thandi, uyathetha ma, I'm not in the mood. Ne? Uma akazi what I went through indaba yamawele nana akazi lutho at that time. Because nami I'm still trying to figure it out. In fact, she didn't even know ukuthi ngikhulelwe. Bengifihla. Ngiyafihla vele mina. Mina ngiyinthenjwe ngiyafihla. So, because khona abantu abasigadile. So, I was like, okay, ma uthi ngahlahla mina ngoba u6 ekseni and all you doing is shouting. Uma odlalela lana fika la ekhaya manje ngoba kunabantu abala abathi bathunyelwe kuwena izisangoma and bakhonjisiwe wena and kuyaphuthuma inkinga yakho. Ngathi ngikhona abantu abalapho mina ngisalapho ngabika nje lapha esigodlweni ngihamba ngosigodlo sami at the time sasekhaya. Ngathi mangibikile lapha esigodlweni ngihamba sengiyohlala emzini yabo. Ngabatshela gogo nomkhulu ngakutshela idlozi lami ngathi maybe ngidinga bazongifica lapha emzini ngoba mina until we buy a house ngeke ngikwazi ukulapha lapha yana ekhaya yabo. So abangibekezelele. Hayi uma wadlalela mina ufuna ngibathini labantu uma ayathetha ke khona ivideo la into manje ngambona ehleka uma ayathetha strong futhi makuthi ajikjele ngempama manje ingena manje like a Zulu boss that she is. Hayi ngathi sharp mangezi hayi yithi ke laba ke we take an Uber ngekhaya or angisho ukuthi mina take an Uber ngekhaya anangempela nangu ndendende one of them ungiphuphile and batshela ukuthi bazongithola lapha yana. So that's where they are. That's no, okay, no, it's fine. Asingeneni ke sibona hayi into engayihlola lapho ayifuseki hayi hey ngayibona namadebeti ngase isangoma hayi into engayibhula lapha yana I'm all drugged up on my sleeping pills. Kodwa into engayibhula lapha yana ayikwangiwe ngabhula jala lapho ngabatshela ukuthi ke yini afana bayithole and which day to come back ke sengizobanika ke lezi zinto abayidingayo. Bathi hayi okay. Ngase ngiyabuza manje abantu abadala ithini intoni ngoba ngimtshelile mina ukuthi nje ngi-right. bathunyile awuyindawo yabo uma uthi uzoyeka la uzobona into ezokwenzeka yazi ngahambuleka that day ngathi yabo lento yokuthi siyayeka edlozini ayikho umuntu nje uthi uyeke edlozini usuke kwasekuqaleni enganadlozi. No, I might have made peace with my situation. I made peace with ngisangoma. But bazalwane, if I tell you, this is not a life I would want for myself. It's not a life I'd want for my children. But asina choice. So kunokuthi senze into siphoqelekile sixoxe every day kumsebenzi esingawufuni. Ujabulisa inhliziyo wamukela ithongo lakini wamukela idlozi lakho wenze ngenhliziyo egezekile ubathanda abantu bakho. Twice I tried to run away. Akwenzeki. Angifuna ukuchaza into eningi. There's a person I used to know. We weren't close or anything. It was just somebody. I almost would try umuntu because umfice somewhere and because you're having to deal with that particular person and then utshwayele lo munye umuntu. Lo mama lo washiswa emlilweni wena shoba wena in ukubhula mephuzile into ayibhulayo hayi shame. She puts me to shame as a sangoma indlela akubhula ngayo. Yabona uthi yabo lo muntu lo waphi umhlahlo ongasuka umphansi. But ukuthi asebenze edlozini ukuthi mhlambe unesigodlo kuzofika abantu alaphe no akwenzeki. Why? Kwashiswa into zakhe zedlozi wavalwa edlozini. Wavalwa ke edlozini. Not unnaturally but based on her own doings ngoba wenza into wrong. Lento yokujaha umjolo wajaha umjolo it's a whole mess engafuni nokuyichaza because it's not my business, and I don't ever want I don't ever want if that person ever ahlangabezana with one of my videos kuvuka inhliziyo ezibuhlungu yabo, like abe hurt by it because she was such a sweet person, like so sweet. But indaba yokujahana nendoda nani indoda yamfaka ehlathini kwashiswa into zakhe a mess akakhona ukusebenza edlozini. Ukubhula usabhula because idlozi lakhe lila kuyena likhuluma esifubeni. There's nothing you can do about it. The soul of idlozi and the soul that is you are merged into one. Akekho ophethe omunye. It's a collaboration. Ukuthi because you are younger uzwa ngalo. But mase selikufaka ehlathini nawe ulifaka endleleni. Ngoba idlozi liyakhona ukuthi nalo libuye libhayize. So ulifaka endleleni uthi asingagijimi kulowa mgaqo lwayana uyalifaka endleleni. That's why it's a balance of a collaboration. Uyabo? You are two souls in one body. Uyabo? That's how it is. And so idlozi liyena lisabhula. But ukuthi uzokhona ukuthi lapha enzeni yezinto ezenzeka. Bazalana agrezaineki la. And whoever says otherwise, it's because waseqaleni benganadlozi. Ngoba nando ubanimani ndini othi they found God and they went closer to God nana. Unamana ama podcast ayakuona wachaza ukuthi lenkinga yena naleni yaweni inyanga thizeni yayilapha. And then yena ngokusa kwakhe waye kweni inyanga or esinye isangoma like Hazelden waye kusona samthwasisi ngathi selaphayana. It wasn't God that said emntanami ufunani la. No, yena watshelwa umlaphi lo wamlapha unyawo ukuthi ufunani lapho. He was helped in his own words. He was helped by another healer that said ukuthi awunalo idlozi lentwaso. So what are you doing there? Then wabona ukuthi fanele aqoqa hamba. But wasizwa umlaphi ukuthi musuka lapha ya irayideng leya ayidingi. Idlozi alidingi if you have no business doing izinto zedlozi. Kunabantu abathanda ubungoma and abathanda ubuthandazi to such an extent where they do anything for it. That's why there are things where uthola abantu bagcabela bafaka uhlanga in order ukuthi bakwazi ukuthi babhula abantu nani kunabantu abakuthwalelayo yabo, kunabantu abathwebulayo yabo, kunabantu that are doing so much to become this thing called izangoma. There's a verse in Corinthians, my phone are occupied, but I think it's Corinthians and also I think Roman, if I'm not mistaken about the Roman one. But in for fact in Corinthians, they speak of spiritual gifts and they say, well, I think sometimes umuntu ukabone like isandla sike sikhulume kunyawo sikhuluma indaba ukuthi wena mina ngibalekile kunawe ne ngiyaparaphrase lana orame oyisandla sizoyitshela kwamehlo ukuthi ngoba wena uyabona ukuthi amehlo abalekile nesandla, but you all part of a body of one. Just like umthandazi, just like prophet, just like isangoma, just like we're all part of the body that is spirituality. We are all part of the calling to one way or another help, whether it's to help your own family or your own bloodline, or whether it is to help people, to help others. But we all fall under the body of spirituality, and all our gifts, whether or it is to heal people in the physicality and also heal them in the spirituality, but we are all playing a role within the embodiment of spirituality. And that embodiment comes from God. Yonkinto uqobo ubizo, it comes from God. Impande lezi siphuphayo is God given by God. Yonkinto ngisho isangoma esinedlozi kuphela and esinganali isithunywa siyakhuleka, because at the end of the day lento ngihlezi ngisho ngikhuleka towards the end ngithi wena uNkulunkulu oyinyanga ephethe zonke inyanga ezulwini nasemhlabeni uyabo, because we recognize ukuthi uNkulunkulu uyisiqalo nesiphetho. Akukho ongalunga without ukuvuma koNkulunkulu. Idlozi likangakhona ukusebenza ngendlela without isibusiso saNkulunkulu. Yonke into iqala iphele eNkulunkulu, but it doesn't mean ukuthi we as the other extension of God are irrelevant. It's something that separates from uNkulunkulu. Lo mlaphi loyo kwi podcast waze wathi cause wathi ubani u-ex-celeb, whatever that he is, wathi tina we sikhuleka or we praise and we worship amadlozi. No, we don't. Nobody that recognizes God says that we do. Just like with me, no Shabalala, we recognize God. So there's nothing that we do without including God. Even within our healing, we recognize ukuthi mina mengilapha abantu, no Shabalala melapha abantu. We always tell people to pray and pasha. We pray to God in understanding ukuthi yonke into ivunywa uyena. Yonke into that needs to be has to come from him. The stamp of yes ngiyavuma or no angivumi iqala kuyena. But why do you do that when I'm so knee deep in what I'm saying? That's not right. Nengigeni. He does this ebazi ukuthi nginenkinga yoku-off ramp, umqondo wami usebenza at 90 miles per hour. Yes, so we do not pray to our ancestors. Siyakhuleka kubona, siyaphahla kubona. Ukukhuleka is not praying. Ukukhuleka ilento eyenziwa abezulu umezofika umuntu emzini womuntu ethi ngiyakhuleka kogatsheni, meaning ngiyabingelela lapho. In a sense, it's like I recognize the people, I recognize our ancestors. It's pure from them ukuthi sinendawo la. So ngiyakhuleka ekhaya lokwaGatsheni, ngiyakhuleka ekhaya lakoShabalala, ngiyakhuleka ekhaya lakoBanibani lakoMkhize, ngiyakhuleka. That's what we do to our ancestors. We reckon in our existence there's certain special things or special attributes that we have because they were passed down in our lineage, they were passed down in our bloodline. We recognize that. We recognize ukuthi ukuze ngibe la ugogo wami wayefanele azale uma wayefanele azale mina. That's why we call our parents, or like my mom says, ngidlozi lakho lasemhlabeni, because she is. Uyidlozi lami eliphilayo. Ngoba ayikho into yami engalunga without isibusiso sakhe as a parent. Yabo, if she lives righteously. And I'm not saying this because there are evil parents out there that wish nothing but evilness on their kids. There are parents out there. So I'm not talking about blessings from that type of parent. I'm talking about blessings from a parent that has done right by their child, that has raised their child in pureness and in understand right no wrong. I'm talking about that parent. If mina don't do ubulungiswa to my mother as she has done ubulungiswa to me, then isibusiso sakhe is vital to my life. Isibusiso sama. My aunts and uncles like to say in yami ngezilunga without them. Abantu abathakathayo ba irrelevant. Mokuthi wena you dabble in witchcraft and when you dabble in imkuba, then trust and believe you do not need that person's blessings. But when your parent has been righteous and they've done what they need to do under the laws of God and under the law of what it means to be a mother or what it means to be a father, isibusiso salowo mzali sibalulekile. So ukuthi bayidlozi yakho sisemhlabeni is a fact. Just like in the Bible they say honor thy mother and father. Kuze iy'nsuku zakho zande emhlabeni. It puts emphasis on honoring umzali wakho ngoba uphethe ibusiso zakho. If that person naye bephila righteously in your life, and umzali uyidlozi sasemhlabeni. So we recognize that if you can recognize your mother and respect your mother and love your mother and understand that also your mother is the direct link between God saying busisa and God saying you are not worthy, then why can't I also recognize her in Ozam Zomsam? So God is the Alpha and the Omega of our lives, as spiritual beings. So we understand that. Sakulega madlozini, saphahlela amadlozi, siyabonga ukuthi nabo bafika ogogo bethu basibusise, bafika basifaka endleleni. But we understand that ayikho into engalunga ngaphandle kwesibusiso saNkulunkulu uqobo. Hence why those people abathanda ukuthakatha I've never heard of umuntu othakathayo ofa kahle. All of them have horrible deaths. Not just people just always talk about abantu abathwele ukuthi hayi ufa kambi bethwele. No, kunabantu abafa kambi because bebethakatha, they were destroying communities, they were destroying their family. Angeke uzufe kambi njengomuntu obethakatha. Ngeke uzufe kambi njengomuntu obecindezela amakhaya abantu, obecindezela imizi yabantu. Those people died the worst types of deaths. The thing in lento ebizwani ama-car accident ababakuwona, ukubola kwezinto emzimbeni yabo, ukusikwa kwemlenze, they go through so much. They go through so much. Why? Because babethakatha. Yabo. Lento ikhona eBhayibhelini ikhona. It's a law of spirituality nje ukuthi once you dabble in things that are of darkness, then everything that you touch and that's got to do on your bloodline iba tainted in the worst kind of way. That's why futhi you find labantu laba benza imkhuba ukuthi ingane abayizalayo kunowaya bangakrosi, banesidina yabo, banesinyama, banamagazi ezinje engathi ungavela uyikhahlele lento. Kunabantu abahlezi beshaya unga-understand ukuthi yini lona ehlezi nje umuntu uma umbona nje ufuna umsakaza ngempama. Ngoba kubo noma naye self kunezinto zobumnyama abazenzayo. And so igazi limile, unegazi lenje, unegazi lesport. Not those dogs, those nicely bred, pure breed dogs, or what ama-Staffy, or ama-German Shepherd, lawa cleanwayo lahle endlini zalo, no. Unegazi lenja la sport lama-7 lenje ofika uhlangane nayo semngcwabeni ilokhu ibhizi laphayana izama ukukhahlela imgqomo kunalelo gazi leyo njaka leyo ngishizele iyanyanyeka uyibone ile Jesus Nkosi ngcwele asaxolisa abantu abanosport kodwa sport nje bayanyanyeka. Okay, let me answer this question that's here. Kumalo, what does it mean when a cousin gives you a horse and a lay person gives you his fork and knife? I'm sorry, you look like I'm taking fork and knife, Jehovah. Ngikhuluma fork and knife because angina context. But ngizokhuluma ehash. Ihash is a blessing. Ihash in itself, even ukuyiphupha ihash, ihash is a representation of a pure spirit. It's a representation of umoya ohlanzekile ogezekile. It can also be a representation of imoto. Mhlawumbe uzothola imoto. Because even masiphahlela imoto zethu sithi ihash elula. Sithi ihash elula. Masiphahla imoto sithi sibika imoto zethu sithi hayi badala nanti ihash lena elula ekuthiwa imoto Mercedes noma ekuthiwa imoto BM noma ekuthiwa imoto whatever that you call is kodwa ekuthiwa ihash elula. So it can be that, so it can either be ukuthi uzothola imoto or ukuthi ukhona umoya othile okhona esimeni sakho ohlanzekile osiso that's being passed down to you for whatever reason. It can be ukuthi umnikazi wayo lowo moya loyo could not asebenze ngawo because mhlawumbe wahambe ngakayiqaqa umoya yakhe, or it can be ukuthi umoya mhlawumbe wasekhaya that you had not yet discovered and uyambulelwa. So it can be either one of those things. I think ikweni ukuthi what you connect with, but ihash nje is a pure spirit. It's umoya ogezekile. Kodwa lo Thandi lo qhamuka phe yo ifuthi yasi but yeah, or it can be ukuthi uzophiwa imoto. It just depends. Let me see if there are any questions here. Okay, not seeing any questions here. All right. Okay. Yeah. So I think I have to wrap up now. Who can you question? Okay. Oh yeah, because ungiphazamisela into esile usuthule kodwa bese ngiphazamisela umbhedo yabo uthi udlala ngami.
Ngiyazama nje ayibenzi ngizokutshela ukuthi okay mase igoqa manje and into esele uzokhuluma ngalokho mina ngalokho.
Yeah, so labantu abaneyithunya as prophet noma esikhuleka esontweni kuphela, those people can fall under either isithunya sokusebenza abantu or kanye isithunya when you are around an environment like that invokes your spirits anyway, iyakuhlangabeza phezu kwaleyo. So lezo ithunya lezo can fall under either or. So akulula ukuthi si specify anything specifically. Uyabo ukuthi okay uma ukuthi ukwazi ukuprophet esontweni that means ukuthi unesithunya sokusebenza, or if uprophet esontweni kuphela ukuthi isithunya sakho si lona silapha wena kuphela or sokuphilisa wena kuphela. It's not easy to specify that because when you're in an environment that invokes your spirit in such a hectic manner, because especially those Zion lalel noma ke wena ko osonto ekuphakameni or kaShemba, whatever that you call it, because umuntu osonda khona that I've met abantu abasonda kaShembe bathi kaShembe, and I've met people abasonda kaShembe bathi sekuphakameni. So depending on how you call it, but if into yakho is within, umoya wakho is within that space and uyawuphakela, it can invoke it. If use lalela iZion liqala ikubamba nje kusangena kungaqala ukushumayelwa usashaya isigubhu nje sokuthi hayi sisoqala manje sisoyivusa le moya iqala ukuthi fa yabo. I get so excited about iZion. Yo. So iZion iqala ikubambe nje early nje kusashaya isigubhu nje. And uthola ukuthi ke kukhanyisiwe amakhandlela, some depending on what's going on, sometimes bakhanyise nempepho okuhlangabeza yonke imimoya phela iZion cases to everybody yabo. So nje hayi iZion qale kubambe nje ngesigubhu nje. Angiphathi ke mase sekushawa idress ise yo so sekuthiwa kuhlomana izikhali yasho inkosi yamabandla hayi kuseki, then you know ukuthi hayi kulithi ke lapho ke kumnandi kula abantu abasonto bazongi-understand ukuthi why am I getting excited in the middle of i-dress lapho khona kuzoba nomuntu in the middle ofika waqoqa yonke ikhali zethu, so amathuse ethu, the different designs, induku for laba abaphatha induku nje umile laphayana uguqile and uyayikhulekela le ikhali thina siyadress lapha hlomanenezi hayi ngakutshela uvukuma ngobhozi isithunywa sakho. So that's why it's hard when you're invoking your spirits that much and uyasinyakazisa that much ukuthi ungakhona ukuthi to do more than what you actually do, because your spirit is in an environment that's ephakelayo and that empowers it and that gives it strength. And it's also like feeding off of others' energy, like a support group. Yabo, it's almost like a support group. So ziyaphopa nje kumnandi nje ukuthi kubovu kunjalo. Ne? So that is what's up. But nginibingelela ke nina nonke on other channels Makhosini, but nje ngibonge bazalwane nababuza imibuzo nje at all times, and please always go for understanding when it comes to your spirit. Hence why you know, for those that truly are looking for understanding and healing, I give you the time of day and I try to empower people ukuthi noma kuthiwa usekho kumina, but you are equipped with the tools to understand what you need when you need it. You know, I teach you. That I don't teach. I don't even waste my time. I mean, I know umuntu who's acting respectful when they're disrespectful. Ngiyakhona nje ngisheshe ngimbambe futhi vele angidalela inhliziyo enceneke lo, because you can act respectful but ube disrespectful, but ngoba uyazi ukuthi usadinga usizo ulokhu uzenza into ethobile. I don't need that energy. 2, kunomuntu ozohluleka ngisho uyibamba adelele kusasuka. Angazi abantu sengibaxoshanga esifundweni. Mina I have no time bazalwane. What I am is so hard to be that if you're not gonna come correcting me, if ungakabi ready for healing and ungakabi ready ukuthi truly usizakala empilweni, mina I'm not your healer. I'm not the healer you go to ozogoqa ozokuvuma kumbhede wakho who's gonna motivate whatever bullshit you're coming with. I don't have that energy. I don't have that time. I don't have that patience. Mina umuntu engimsizayo umuntu engibona kahle ukuthi you are worth every ounce of myself that I can offer you. So I will teach you ukuthi ngisho ungasekho la kumina, understand ukuthi ukuthi nokuthi kwenziwa nje ukuthi nokuthi kwenziwa nje. Uma ukuthi uyemanzini, I teach abantu about water so that if they can't go to a healer, ukuthi enza kanje to draw strength from water. Don't just nje uyemanzini ngoba wena your people say you must go to water. Yo bazalwane, how are you gonna fix yourself? Ubungcolile vele. What can you fix within yourself when you are dirty? You know my mom, I'm not talking with I'm 5 years old. I was 15 and my mom athi wazala. Ubekile amanzi okugeza nanani. Wazala. Bengithi ngathi khumula, ngithi hayi ma khumula. Hayi bo ma yazi I'm 15. I'm 16 ngiyakwazi ukusigeza. Khumula. Yo, ngikhumule phela ngiyazi impama yagatsheni. Yazi impama yagatsheni. Uma you gonna fuck around and find out. Uma does not play with you. Uma adla nengane. Yabo. Athi uma khumula ngithi okay ma kodwa ma sengimdala athi wozala. Kuqala hayi guqa. Uma uzongenza emhlanje. Uyangichopha. Athi bese umqala ngithi my grand used to do the same thing. Miss Varsha mafam. Asiguqise sonke athi gezani usageza uyakubheka ukubhekile kanje yale ibuko zakho ukubhekile kanje mase usuthuthi athi uqa futhi hayi uyachophanisa ingane umdala uwe no kwenzakalani wenza sure ukuthi insila isukile. There are things you cannot cleanse off of yourself, but you need the strength of other people. But khona abantu abangantshela. Khona abantu abazi ukuthi ini mina ngizenza ukuthi yabo mina the reason why I don't need to go to certain healers is because ushabayala umlaphi and he unomoya wakhe, he works from a separate spirit from me. He usebenza ngempande yakoshabalala. So mekufanele ngiye emanzini angihluphi ngithi ngithatha uyongibulekela. Angigeza ayingizizwa ukuthi angigeze ngibuye ngigeze mina, but it's not the same as ukugeza ushabalala. Izwa ukuthi hayi uma engihlangabezileke namhlanje hayi ngiyawuzwa yabo naye ngingithathe ngifake emanzini ngimhlambulule. Sometimes athi I know ngizoyikhulekela today hayi ngimiyeke kazikhulekela. And other times I cleanse him because there's certain things that you won't be able to see, certain stains enyinsila ongeke uyibone in yourself that omunye umuntu uzoyibona. Kunento okufanele ukuthi sometimes uthole somebody outside of your situation to help you through it. But no, abantu abayi-understand le nto because umuntu ufuna ukuyiphatha azithwale emoyeni. Alikho i-island yedlozi lakho kuphela. Mina the only reason why I've been able to survive certain things is because as much as my spirit is strong and as much as kunezinto engikwazi ukuyibonelela zona ngitshela ukuthi hlanganisa ukuthi enza ukuthi, but there are certain things ey'fike zingivale the ability to see past a certain level of darkness. Lapho ke singiyazi ngishabalala ngikhulekela. Shabalala ungihlanganisela iswasho, ungihlanganisela umuthi, ungihlanganisela into yokuphalaza. Ngifuna into ezophuma ngaye kwimpande yakhe khona ngizosizakala. There's no island for umuntu yedwa edlozini. In spirituality we need other people, we need other spirits to help us see our blind spots and to see things that are beyond ourselves. But ke philani enzani into eniyithandayo. Usanele awumorongo Makhosi usanele ke sesithokoza gogo cela ukubuza ma ungaphuphi ma uphupha ugibele kwi-train. Basalane, I'm gonna say this ne. To say ngiphuphe ngihamba nehash, to say ngiphuphe ngenza nje ngithenga inkukhu. There's so much that wayithola itshengulu yami le yafa nansi la. There's so much that is left unsaid, or that's like missing pieces, that makes it hard to properly interpret iphupho. But it can be like ukuthi iphupho lakho liyashoda, or it can be ukuthi khona into eyaphazamisa ungalibona lonke iphupho lakho, or it can be ukuthi mhlawumbe okay iphupho ugibele kwi-train unenyongo yabo ufana uphalaze, or it can be ukuthi the meaning of that is that mhlawumbe there's a journey you need to go on. So uphupho ugibele i-train because there's a journey you need to go on. Khona la ufana ufilele khona uyabo. But if there are things missing, it's very hard to interpret. But ukuphupha ugibele isitimela can be ukuthi there's a journey you need to go on. Kunolhambo libalulekile ofanele ulihambe, and lelo hambo can be so many things yabo. It can be so many things. So ungangibuzi ukuthi uhambo luphi. Yeah, nangishabalesha ukuthi njoba kuyisitimela nje uhambo kusazodonsa uhambo olude uyabo. But when you dream sometimes things like this that don't, because khona ukuthi uphupha izinto ezinganayo i-context, lapho-ke usuke sesibhekani, we want dreams before that one. We want to, okay, uzuphuphe lokhu, what did you dream before this and before this and before this? We collect 3 or 4 of your last dreams to then get maybe a better understanding of ukuthi njoba usufikelele la kwiphupho lesitimela, kushuthi nansi kahle kahle inkulumo abafika nayo, nansi uhamba bakhuluma ngalo. Uyayibona lento le. But also bazalwane, can we not deny, angikhulumi ngawe ke sanele sengiyageneralize manje nje ngikhuluma into eseqaleni. Can we also acknowledge ukuthi bazalwane siyayiphupha into ezinenyongo phakathi, siyayiphupha into engekho, ngiphuphela nje ngiphuphe mina ama-celebrity, ngiphupha ama-rapper, ngiphupha Nicki Minaj baselane, ngiphuphe nje into eyibhedayo, ngize ngivuke ngihleke ngithi engasamphupha uNicki, ngithi ukuthi ngilalela iculo lakhe, ngithi ukunyakaza, ngithi hayi leyo hip hop leyo vibe. Ngisawumuntu uthando sakhona. Just because ngumakhosi Thandi doesn't mean ukuthi uthanda akekho, cha. Uthanda usamthanda uNicki Minaj, usayithanda i-hip hop, usathanda amapiano, usathanda uChris Brown, like nje bazalwane ngumuntu. Like I've had people where mhlawumbe we're going for a cleanse and semotweni and ngivule uChris Brown, hayi ngiyocula-ke, hayi ngiyoshaya, khumbula siyophothula igobongo lomuntu eNewcastle, ngadlala R&B no hip hop lapho ezayiphopa othi hayibo hawu koko kade nje ngithi no, like I'm still a person, my vibes. Just because ngeke ngifice grooving, just because ngeke ungifice ngitwerk phezu kwetafula, doesn't mean ukuthi I'm not a person. I'm not a person that understands pop culture. Phela ngibuye ngikhumbule amazalwana ngangisenza ku-marketing and brand management, ngangidila nama-groove futhi ngihambe ama-groove mekuzolaunchwa ezinye iy'ndawo, kuney'ndawo mina ey'lontshiwe leziyo zo-5 star that I was there when they were launched. Zisaqala ngisabasiza nge-marketing yabo, ngibasiza nge-branding yabo, nje ngizothatha the social media nani maningi amabhizinisi engisebenzile nawo back in the days before ngibe uMakhosi. How I've even worked with Vodacom, ngisangoma-ke ngasebenza no-Vodacom nani bazalwane, i-vibe ngiyayi-understanda, ngiyayazi yabo, but ukuthi kuphela ngiyinikile kule mpilo, so kunezinto ngeke ungifica ngifile kuzona, and futhi ngiya-understand ukuthi nguma wabantu mina manje, not ingane zami engiyizalayo, but I'm a spiritual mother and mentor to a lot of people. I'm a spiritual mother and mentor to iy'thunywa ey'thile engizilaphayo engiyisizayo ney'thunywa zabo. Ngumama wedlozi wabanye abantu, ngumama wedlozi kwabantu engibafundisayo engibamentorishayo. So ngumama, so kunezinye izinto ekufanele ukuthi uma suwumama u-understand ukuthi uphuma kuzona. Ngeke ngifice laphayana ngi-DJ, ngeke ngifice laphayana ngisebenza egruvini ngiphika ney'ngane school obani bano-DJ wafuzi. Ngeke ngiphike nalezo y'ngane mina uthi ngoba nakho kunezinqo ey'nkulu-ke sengiyimi lo ngishaya lezi. Hayi bazalwanayo, ngumama mina. Ngifuna umuntu uma se-understand ukuthi ngiyamthwasisa noma ngiyamkhulekisa, ngiyamlapha esithunyweni, ngimlapha edlozini, understand ukuthi nguma wakhe, I'm not their friend. Ngabo, I'm not their partner abazogruva naye. Mina ngikwazi ukuyogruva namathwasa nami, ngoba even ithwasa lami mina ngiyalitshela ukuthi mhla ungasekho kule mpande le usulapho uyogruva-ke usubhizi ushintsha amadoda, vele ngizobe ngasabalwa lapho ngoba mina ngikufundisile indlela yokuphila. But yeah, but that's why sizohleka, kodwa sizobahleka benzayo sithi hayi philani ngoba nithi namadlozi, hayi maniphile manenze. Asinamona enzani. Bona abantu nako Instagram nako TikTok nje ziyaphopa kumnandi. Enzani bazalwane. Into engiyaziyo mina isithembiso engasenza between me and my people. Ngiya-understand imfundiso ezafika ngoba baningi abathi bayithwasisile. Okay, uthwasisile, but kuphi ukulawuleka kuloyo nto? Bana umuntu othi ngiyithwasise idlozi lakho li-right ukuthi usidukise. Mina idlozi ngazi ukuthi nje liyafihla nje. Akufani noma usina lapha nogida mhlawumbe kubuye kuvela izinqo, kubuye kuvela amabele mhlawumbe ngoba uvuka umoya waginqa ngaphansi and all of that. That's fine. Yabo. Mina ngiyabahlambulula abantu ngibayise emanzini ngithi ekhumula ubenqunu sageza la ngikufanga ngaphansi kwamanzi, uyabo. Sifike khona isinyama namabhadi nanana afuna ukuthi ugeze unqunu. Ngiyayibona izinqa zabantu mos, I don't care about it. Just like doctors see us naked, mina ngiyakudokotela njoba ngatete ingane zami bonto bakabakhumulisa bathi sifuna ukucheck ukuthi, and you just like okay, unandaba nalona. But I ukuthi nje mina groovini uzongifica ngidunisela abantu futhi groovini nje ngongifica ngifile. Ngiyabo, because I understand ukuthi ngumzali. There are positions as a parent that you cannot be seen in. Akufanele ngoba nakho sifuna ukuthi abantu basithande bese sibalekela inhlonipho nesimilo nesidima sabantu bethu namadlozi ethu namathungo ethu. We need to respect our ancestors and respect ourselves. So abantu bathi umuntu angayithwasisa mina kodwa yabona umuntu uveza izinqa laphayana, ubona umuntu namabham shorts laphayana, ubona umuntu la kuveza igqeyana, ubona inkomo zabantu like man, bathi idlozi leli. Asingakhohlisani sifuna ukuthi nje sithandwe abantu. Mina uzongithanda ngihlenga ngimnandi nje ngoba ngisho ngithethe abangazi ukuthi ngiyathetha, bangithanda still ngoba bayazi ukuthi mina ngitshelana amaqiniso kuphela. Angincengile ukuthanda wena because at the end of the day akuwena wangiyisa entwaseni, akuwena wathi angiphasa, akuwena wathi angiguqelele edlozi, akuwena wanginika imali ukuthi ngihlabe inkomo yami ukuthi ngithole ishoba, akuwena onginika amaphupho ukuthi ngikwazi ukuthi ngibhula abantu or ngibone inkinga zami, akuwena. So you're gonna love and respect and understand me the way I am, without me doing all these things to try and fit in with you guys. Yabo. But ke kube kuhle kube mhlophe. Come on. But kube kuhle kube mhlophe sibonge nje ukuthi ngihlalile labo abahlalile nathi. Shabala, I don't like it. I'm like, so I'm saying goodbye. It's giving me it's giving me it's giving me vibes of I think I own the shit. It's giving
It's not giving anything.
I'm being overbearing. Gogo kuka kwenzeke yini uke usebenzele ngifundela shabala ngamehla yami
usanele lapha uthi gogo kungenzeka yini uke usebenze ngapha eGoli ukuthi ngifisa ukuhlambululwa ngikhona ukuthi nguwe isithunywa ungifaka emanzini.
Okay, khehla lami ne. Musana udlalani nengane yami lapha. Khehla lami. I've said this in consultations with people because baningi abantu engibalapha koGoli, Cape Town, Mpumalanga and so forth. eGoli I have the biggest problem because angazi noma population yalaphana ithole kakhulu or what the issue is. But a lot of the water that I've gone to laphana eGoli because bengibahlambulula abantu eGoli. Into engidina engangahlangabezana nayo is that a lot of the waters lapho ayisenabanikazi ne abantu bathole kakhulu some of lezi zinto abathole ngazo ezangaphandle eyifike zacindezela abanikazi balapho or zangaba halal othi ngibeke kanjalo zangaba halal for abanikazi balapho ne so a lot of the waters lapho eGoli no longer have abanikazi bayo. So mesithi siyosebenza lapho sithi sifuna ukuzohlambulula sisuke sifuna nalamandla abanikazi baleyo ndawo abanikazi bendalo uyabo because me alone as idlozi I cannot carry a person. Angikwazi ukuthi ngimhlambulula ngamandla ami kuphela ngidinga amandla ami nokuthi mengibiza amathonga kini sibaphahle ngithi hayi biza kuyibongo zakho ke biza idalwa zakho siphahle lapho bese ke siyabiza ke nomnikazi uthi ayike sicela ukusebenzisa indawo yakhe ukuthi nokuthi once kuhamba umnikazi I can't pull your ancestors to that place because it's no longer clean. Leyo ndawo ayisahlambululekile, leyo ndawo leyo ayisahambi nemoya emihle. Noma ngingababiza amathonga abo sizama ukwancinga ukuthi asondele ngeke azabe afika alwe nesimo sokungcola kuwena aphinda azola nesimo sokungcola samanzi esikuwona so ngeke abaza basondele lapho. So amanzi aseGoli mina ngiwafuni yabo and angisho mhlawumbe ikhona indawo esanamanzi aclean but ngibheka amanzi aclean eNjobe ngihambe drive sibheka amanzi aclean yabo. Into emnandi la eKZN is that abantu bayafa nje left right and center mekuthi ningene nizoga amanzi alawa adlala nengane yabo. So amanzi amaningi labantu abafisa ukugangela kuwona bayawagwema bagangela kwalawa engathi abanikazi balapho they not as strong yabo. Kodwa lama ufica khona abaphathi balawo manzi bemandla beqinile and they old yabo like old akudlalelwa lapho so bayafa nje abantu. So lana amanzi ngiyawazi agezekile ngiyazi ahlanzekile. I mean I've taken people to amanzi la kuthiwa kuyafiwa lapha and nami ngiyazi ngangagezwa lapho and the first time ngigezwa khona ngangisaba ukungena emanzini because I know people that have abashona lapho kuthiwa nje nezingane ezashona so I know full well ukuthi kunamanzi abulalayo yabo. But mina ngahlambulula kulezo indawo and I got to understand nokutshelwa nezimfihlo zamanzi and understand ukuthi amanzi kufanele ufike unjani kuona and how to appease abanikazi balapho so that abaxabani nawo. So abantu mina baseGoli abantu in fact nje mina umuntu mengiqala ukumgeza nje umuntu ngiyamtshela woze eThekwini uzoza nje eThekwini you make the trip because mina ngeke ngisadlalela amanzi angaze ngilwe nezilwane zalapho uyabo sengidonsa izinto engingazazi ngoba nakho sebebona ukuthi ngathi ledlozi sifuna ukuganga ngalo Thixo ngeke ngikwazi ngifundele shabala ngijona namhlanje ase blind
no uthi ngiyakuzwa kahle gogo kusho ukuthi ngizocela ukwenza appointment ngize ngalapho so I think it's private so
yeah angithi khona WhatsApp number lana
with
description Oyithini into sizovalelisa a song I've been singing for days now mengizokhule kugogo ekhaya uyena wangenza ngaba nje awegogo uyena wangenza ngaba nje mengizokhule kugogo ekhaya uyena wangenza ngaba nje awegogo uyena wangenza ngaba nje ngibone ngikhuluma for 2 hours uyayizwa lento mengizokhule kugogo vala lokho uyena wangenza ngaba nje wegogo posted but you must post it uyena wangenza ngaba nje wegogo uyena wangenza ngaba nje yeah I think so try uyena wangenza ngaba nje I have to take the shit so we internet uyena wangenza ngaba nje wegogo uyena wangenza ngaba nje mengizokhule kugogo ekhaya uyena wangenza ngaba nje wegogo uyena wangenza ngaba nje wegogo uyena wangenza ngaba nje vala YouTube lo asibonge bazalwane niphile emakhaya ameni amen 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 have you ended
sawubone ku-end
endelana
abhayeni
awuchapha bye
okay ngihlangane
are you sure